Ladies and gentlemen of the media and members of the public listening on Facebook and via ZBVI live on the radio, a pleasant good morning to all. Today we've gathered for a press conference for the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force to update the public on recent firearm matters and overall progress of crime happening in our communities. I am Akia Thomas Nero, the Information Officer for the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force, and today I'm joined by the Acting Commissioner, Jacqueline Vanterpool, and her senior management team, Acting Deputy Commissioner Dariel Robinson, Acting Deputy Commissioner Kenrick Davis, Superintendent Selwyn Rock, and Acting Superintendent Louis Buckley. I'm also joined by Sergeant Delma Tavernier, who will be translating the Commissioner's address today. I will now turn over to the Acting Commissioner for her address. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, members of the public, those online, those via ZBJ radio, or any other radio station that are listening this morning, good morning. Before I get into the gist of my message, I'd like to introduce on my right, Sergeant Delma Tavernier, and she's here this morning to interpret my English version message into Spanish. We recognize that there are a number of Spanish-speaking nationals within our community, and the last murder that took place happens to be a descendant of the Spanish members committee. This morning, I address you not only as the Acting Commissioner, but as a member of the community who shares your concerns, your fears, and your expectations for a safe and secure Virgin Islands. Just a few weeks ago, my senior command team stood before you and did a press conference reaffirming our steadfast commitment to you, the people of the BVI. As it pertains to the lives of people and the livelihood of our people, of those who call these lovely BVI home, that commitment has not diminished, it has not wavered. I must say to you, it has deepened even more as a force. Since that time, the RVIPF has made meaningful progress in its operations, investigations, and intelligence-led interventions. These advances are the result of tireless work by all dedicated, committed staff, all dedicated, committed officers who continue to go over and beyond. Also, the effective collaboration with regional and international law enforcement partners, and the continued support of you, the public, who have stepped forward at all times in giving us information. I extend my sincere gratitude to you, the general public, who continues to share with us as an organization information that you see, information that you hear, information that you know, and for that we are grateful. Your partnership is invaluable to us. When I say invaluable, it goes beyond. We cherish it with an ounce of salt, a pound of $100 million. We cherish the information that you share with us on a day-to-day basis. We recognize that despite your partnership, the escalation of violent crime, particular firearm-related incidents, continues to be an area of major concern to us as an organization. On the evening of Friday, 20th, 2025, officers responded to gunshots heard in the area of Greenland in East End. Tragically, upon arrival, officers pounced upon a lifeless body, happened to be that of 29-year-old Eric Albert, who was gunned down by assailants in the vicinity of his home. I take this opportunity right now on behalf of myself as Acting Commissioner and the entire organization to extend our sincere condolences to his family, his friends, and particularly those of the fire service within the BVI. His loss is indeed a profound one, and therefore we stand in solidarity with you, the Spanish-speaking national community, and its family members to support you in this time of great loss. We know that death is something we never get accustomed of, but as an organization, we have envisioned that you do need our unprofound support. As I stated earlier, we are committed to pursuing justice on his behalf, supporting his loved ones during this most difficult time. I'm also pleased to report that on Friday, June 27, we had a significant breakthrough where our officers conducted a search on a resident in Greenland, East End, and that search has yielded one AR-15 rifle, 579 rounds of ammunition, and one magazine. 3 persons were taken into custody. 1 female was discharged without being charged, and 2 minors, ages 13 and 16, has been charged for possession of a prohibited weapon and possession of explosive. Also during that search, pertinent evidence were collected surrounding the investigations of the alleged murder, and those exhibits will be used or be sent away for forensic and criminal ballistic analysis. Also, on that same evening, 20th June, assailants discharged multiple gunshots on a private residential house in the Cherwell estate. We are thankful that no one was injured during the discharging of those firearm shots into that home. The investigations surrounding these 2 events are still active, alive, and ongoing, and as time progresses, we will share information that is necessary to you, the public. Let me state clearly, the prevalence of gun violence within the BVI is disturbing. It's on areas for concern. It is wholly unacceptable within our territory, this place that we call home. It undermines our safety, our economy, and our way of life. It must be addressed as we propose as a force to address it as soon as we get reports of such nature. To date, 3 individuals have suffered as related a firearm-related incident. We had Quentin Noel of Purcell Estate, who was murdered in January. We had Nyrel Erickson, who was shot in the western area. And now we have Eric Albert, who was shot in the Greenland Estate, Longbrook area. I must inform you the murders surrounding Quentin Noel and Nyrel Erickson, these investigations are still alive, active, open, and ongoing. As information becomes available, it will be shared to you, the public, and also to you, the listening media who are here this morning. While we have removed several firearms from circulation and have made considerable amount of arrests, we recognize that more must be done. We are intensifying our enforcement operations, extending our surveillance capabilities, and strengthening our prosecution coordination. Let me be clear, we will not relent. In addition to these land-based threats, we continue to confront illegal activities pertaining to our territorial waters, our outskirt borders. It's still a dire threat to us as an organization. On Tuesday, June 17th, we inform you of a joint operation between the police, Department of Immigration, His Majesty Customs, and other external agencies and partners who responded to an alert call of the island of Oilnut Bay in Virgin Border. Also responded, and in that call, they were able to identify that a boat capsized within the area, and because of the turbulent waters, that boat crashed on the rocks. Our officers then conducted a search within the area, and I must let you know that search was one of the most difficult searches for our dedicated officers during that morning. The area itself was the terrain was very, very difficult to climb. It was very hilly, And because of the waters, the cocaine settled in the rocks, within the crisp of the rocks, make it very difficult for officers to even get to cocaine. We were able to retrieve a total of 1,440 kilos of cocaine that valued $144 million, street value. My officers who was on the ground, after consulting with senior commanders who were under their remit, my commanders then made contact with the legal experts where advice was sought as to what was next step. Because of the difficulty in getting the cocaine up from the ground up to the hillside, a decision had to be made. Hence, we got the advice from the legal experts who are trained within the areas, and a final decision was made to burn the remaining cocaine on the ground. This project was witnessed by people who had nothing to do with law enforcement. By our officers who were on the ground, we had to do video footage, drone and camera footage to videotape everything that was done on the ground for the burning of this cocaine. As a result of the cocaine being burned, a number of our officers suffered respiratory challenges in breathing. But we are thankful that we were able to receive medical treatment from the staff at Oil Nut Bay, and then they got the green light to proceed and leave in the area. I want to take this opportunity to commend all those officers who are on that ground, because we recognize what a difficult time it was for them in trying to retrieve that large bale of cocaine that was washed up on the ground through the rough waters. As I stated, that decision was made because of the terrain in moving up and down the hill. The officer's dedication in getting it done was kind of zero, and time was limited on this side. 7 persons were detained as a result of that drug seizure. 4 of those non-speaking nationals were charged for illegal entry. They were also charged with possession of cocaine with intent to supply. The investigations still remain active, and additional updates will be forthcoming. These incidents, both on land and sea, underscore the complexity of the challenges we face as an organization and as a community. But they also highlight the exceptional professionalism by our team, dedicated officers on the ground, and the resilience of our officers who goes beyond the call of duty to serve with integrity, courage, and commitment under increasingly difficult conditions. To you, the people of the Virgin Islands, while we acknowledge these troubling developments, we remain confident in the security and the stability of our territory. This is still a safe place to live, a safe place to work, a safe place to invest, and a safe place to visit. It is our duty and my professional and personal mandate to ensure it remains so. My senior leadership team and I have classified the recent spat of violent activities as a significant threat to our society and public safety. In a response, we have prepared a comprehensive, multifaceted strategy that includes enhanced intelligence-led policing, strategic gun mapping and analysis, expanded police visibility and patrol presence, and targeted public awareness campaigns. We also purpose to expand our investment in the following areas: community engagement and public trust, youth education and prevention initiatives, policy and legislative reform, training, wellness, and capacity development, technological innovation and surveillance capabilities. The RVIPF is committed to forging stronger partnership across all sectors, governmental, civic, and international, to deliver lasting security outcomes for the people of these lovely Virgin Islands. To all persons living and working in this lovely BVI, I say this: public safety is not a sole responsibility. of law enforcement. It is a responsibility that is shared. I urge you to continue engaging with us, speak with us, talk with us, share with us what you see, what you hear, and what you know. That makes the load a lot easier for us as an organization. Your involvement certainly indeed makes a critical difference. Together, we'll confront these threats. Together, we will protect what matters. Together, we will uphold the values that make these Virgin Islands a safe, strong, united, and resilient island to live. We have the intelligence unit we can contact at 368-9339. Crime Stoppers anonymously at 800-8477-TIPS or overseas 284-800-8477. I thank you very much, and I'll take this opportunity to bring Sergeant Delma Tavernier, who will now translate the English version of this conference message into Spanish.
Thank you, ma'am. Mi nombre es Delma Tavernier y estoy aquí hoy para traducir el discurso a los medios de la comisionada de la Policía Interina. Damas y caballeros de los medios de comunicación, miembros del público que nos escuchan por radio y plataformas en línea, buenos días. Gracias por acompañarnos. Esta mañana me dirijo a ustedes no solo como comisionada interina de policía, sino como miembro de esta comunidad que comparte sus preocupaciones, esperanzas y expectativas de unas islas vírgenes seguras. Hace apenas unas semanas, miembros de mi equipo directivo comparecieron ante de ustedes para reafirmar el firme compromiso de la Fuerza Real de Policía de las Islas Vírgenes de proteger la vida y el sustento de todos los que consideran estas islas su hogar. Ese compromiso no ha flaqueado, al contrario, se ha profundizado. Desde entonces, la Fuerza Real de Policía de las Islas Vírgenes ha logrado avances significativos en sus operaciones, investigaciones e intervenciones basadas en inteligencia. Estos avances, con el resultado del trabajo incansable de nuestros oficiales, la colaboración eficaz con las fuerzas del orden regionales e internacionales, y el apoyo continuo de la ciudadanía que ha aportado información. Les expreso mi sincero agradecimiento. Su colaboración es invaluable. A pesar de esos esfuerzos, el aumento de la delincuencia violenta, en particular los incidentes con armas de fuego, sigue siendo motivo de grave preocupación. La noche del viernes 20 de junio, aproximadamente a las 10:30 p.m., agentes de policía respondieron a reportes de disparos en la zona de Greenland East End. Trágicamente, al llegar, los agentes encontraron el cuerpo sin vida del oficial de bomberos de 29 años, Eric Albert, quien había sufrido múltiples heridas de bala justo afuera de su casa. Su fallecimiento representa una profunda pérdida para su familia, sus colegas del cuerpo de bomberos y nuestra comunidad en general. En nombre de toda la Fuerza Real de Policía de las Islas Vírgenes, transmito nuestras más sinceras condolencias a la familia, amigos y colegas del señor Albert. Nos comprometemos a buscar justicia en su nombre y apoyar a sus seres queridos, en este momento tan doloroso. Me complace informar sobre avances significativos en esta investigación. El viernes 27 de junio de 2025, como parte de esta investigación, los agentes ejecutaron una orden de allanamiento en una residencia en Greenland East End. Durante esta operación se recuperaron un rifle AR-15 y varias municiones. Tres personas que se encontraban en la residencia fueron arrestadas en relación con los objetos encontrados. Una mujer fue puesta en libertad sin cargos. 2 menores, 13 y 15 años, fueron acusados de posesión de una arma prohibida y posesión de explosivos. También se recogieron pruebas pertinentes relacionadas con el asesinato, que actualmente se encuentran en proceso de análisis forense y balístico. Además, la misma noche del 20 de junio, unos desconocidos dispararon varias veces contra una vivienda en Caldwell Estate. El edificio sufrió daños, pero afortunadamente ninguno de sus ocupantes resultó herido. Ambos incidentes se encuentran bajo investigación y estamos siguiendo todas las pistas con urgencia. Permítanme ser claro, la prevalencia de la violencia armada en este territorio es totalmente inaceptable. Atenta contra nuestra seguridad, nuestra economía y nuestro estilo de vida. Debe ser abordada y será abordada con todo el rigor de la ley. Hasta la fecha, 3 personas han perdido la vida a causa de la violencia con armas de fuego en 2025. Quentin Noel en enero, Nyron Erickson en mayo y ahora Eric Albert en junio. La investigación sobre el asesinato de Nyron Erickson y Quentin Noel continúa activamente. Proporcionaremos más información a su debido tiempo. Estas no son estadísticas, son vidas perdidas, familias destrozadas y comunidades conmocionadas. Si bien hemos retirado varias armas ilegales de la circulación y realizado arrestos significativos, reconocemos que aún queda mucho por hacer. Estamos intensificando nuestras operaciones de cumplimiento de la ley, ampliando las capacidades de diligencia, fortaleciendo la coordinación de fiscalía. Seamos claros, no cejaremos. Además de estas amenazas terrestres, seguimos enfrentando actividades ilegales en nuestras aguas territoriales. El martes 17 de junio les informamos sobre una importante operación conjunta que involucró a la Fuerza Real de Policía de las Islas Vírgenes, el Departamento de Inmigración, la Oficina Aduana de Su Majestad y socios extranjeros en respuesta a una alerta de socorro en la zona de Oil Not Bay. Los oficiales respondieron y descubrieron una embarcación encallada en un arrecife. Esta operación resultó en la recuperación de aproximadamente 1.440 kilogramos de cocaína, con un valor estimado en la calle de $144 millones. Debido a las circunstancias operativas y de acuerdo con los protocolos de seguridad, se dialogó con las autoridades superiores y se tomó la decisión de destruir el material en el lugar. Esta destrucción fue presenciada por observadores independientes, ajenos de la fuerza del orden, y documentada mediante videos, imágenes de drones y cámaras corporales. Lo más importante es que se aseguraron y retuvieron cantidades suficientes de cocaína para respaldar el proceso penal. La quema del contrabando generó una nube de humo tóxico, lo que provocó síntomas médicos temporales en varios agentes, quienes fueron atendidos de inmediato y autorizados para reincorporarse al servicio. 7 personas fueron detenidos en relación con este incidente. 4 extranjeros fueron acusados formalmente de entrada ilegal y posesión de una droga controlada con intención de suministro. La investigación continúa activa y se proporcionará información adicional según corresponda. Estos incidentes, tanto en tierra como en el mar, ponen de relieve la complejidad de los desafíos que enfrentamos, pero también resaltan la excepcional profesionalidad y resiliencia de nuestros oficiales, quienes continúan sirviendo con integridad, valentía y compromiso en condiciones cada vez más difíciles. Al pueblo de las Islas Vírgenes, si bien reconocemos estos preocupantes acontecimientos, seguimos confiando en la seguridad y estabilidad de nuestro territorio. Este sigue siendo un lugar seguro para vivir, trabajar, invertir y visitar. Es nuestro deber y mi mandato personal garantizar que siga siéndolo. Mi equipo directivo y yo hemos clasificado la reciente oleada de violencia como una amenaza significativa para la seguridad pública. En respuesta, hemos implementado una estrategia integral y multifacética que incluye policía mejorada basada en inteligencia, mapeo y análisis estratégico de delitos con armas de fuego, mayor visibilidad policial y presencia de patrullas, y campañas de concientización públicas dirigidas. También ampliaremos nuestra inversión en las siguientes áreas: participación comunitaria y fomento de la confianza, iniciativas de educación y prevención juvenil, reforma política y legislativa, capacitación, bienestar y desarrollo de capacidades, innovación tecnológica y capacidades de vigilancia. La Fuerza Real de la Policía de las Islas Vírgenes se compromete a forjar alianzas más sólidas en todos los sectores gubernamental, cívico e internacional para lograr resultados de seguridad duraderos para la población de estas Islas Vírgenes. A todas las personas que viven y trabajan en las Islas Vírgenes Británicas, les digo lo siguiente: la seguridad pública no es responsabilidad exclusiva de las fuerzas del orden, es una responsabilidad compartida. Los insto a que sigan colaborando con nosotros, alcen la voz, compartan lo que saben, compartan lo que ven, apoyen el trabajo que realizamos. Su participación puede marcar una diferencia crucial. Juntos enfrentaremos estas amenazas. Juntos protegeremos lo que importa. Y juntos defenderemos los valores que hacen de estas Islas Vírgenes una isla fuerte, unida y resiliente. Pueden comunicarse con la unidad de inteligencia al 368-9339, con agentes de prevención del crimen anónimamente al 800-8477 o desde el extranjero al 284-800-8477. Gracias.
Thank you, Acting Commissioner and Sergeant Tavernier. We will now have your questions from the media. Just a reminder to keep your questions relevant to the updates that were provided today. Commissioner.
Good morning, Kathy Richards, JTV News. My question's based on the presentation of you, Commissioner Acton. My first question, the burning of the cocaine. You did say you sought expert advice, but I found it a little concerning that proper safety measures weren't to take into consideration for those officers who suffered. What capacity do we have to make sure that going forward that we take the officers' security and the safety as paramount in these exercises?
Thank you very much, ma'am. Very good question. As I indicated earlier, the terrain in where the cocaine was lodged, between the precipices of the rocks, the cliff, a very small area. So hence the officers had to walk within the confines of that area. Everything was put in place to protect every single officer who was on the ground. The legal advice that we got, as I said, is from the legal experts, from the Attorney General Chambers, Deputy Director of Public Prosecutions, along with my command team, who also consulted with me, and then in turn we consulted with the governor. And hence a final decision was made that pertains to the burning of the remaining cocaine on the ground. We are confident that the advice given to us, and hence we stand comfortable with the decision that we made to have it burned. As I stated, every officer on that ground was protected within the confines of the small area that they were in. Because of the confines, when you put it in the drum and the toxin smoke came up, that is what affected us who were on the ground.
Okay, so they weren't masked up as preparing for such smoke?
Yes, ma'am, they were, but you have to look at a toxic smoke, ma'am. If you ever see cocaine when it's burning, it's not a very good scent.
Okay. My second question, for the 3 deaths that we would have had resulting from gun violence this year, were there CCTV in each of these areas, namely West End, Purcell, and Greenland?
Thank you. If my memory serves me well, ma'am, surrounding the one in West End, yes. Purcell Estate, yes. But if the outstanding information surrounding the latest one, I'm not too sure. I can follow up on that for you as well.
Were those CCTVs working, and were you able to secure relevant evidence from those CCTV if they were working?
Certainly, ma'am, we did. As I said, those investigations are still active, open, and ongoing.
Thank you.
Good morning, Acting Commissioner Ron Martin. I will begin regarding the update that you provided, but specifically as it pertains to Naren Erickson, the death of Naren Erickson. There was a individual that was at large, still remains at large. Your professional opinion, is it the belief of the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force that suspect who is still at large is still on the island, or perhaps has left the island?
Thank you. So a very good question. I can confirm, based on our investigations, that person is no longer within our jurisdiction and has left.
Thank you. And my second question, Mr. Eric Rabsat was captured in the United States Virgin Islands in connection, of course, with the murder of Jamez Stout. Can you provide any updates pertaining to that matter? Of course, the investigation is ongoing, but since his capture, what can you say about the matter?
Thank you. What we can say about that, he's still out of the PBI jurisdiction, especially in the USSA. No additional information was divulged to us as an organization, so we are still awaiting his return to the territory.
Ruben Stobie, Virgin Islands News Online. Madam Commissioner, could you give the nationality of all the persons arrested in relation to the cocaine seizure at Walnut Bay? And can you say where the vessel was believed to be coming from, and was it heading to the BVI when the incident occurred?
Thank you. Information first hand is that the vessel was within the vicinity of the St. Martin area heading into the BVI waters. We firmly believe, based on the intelligence that we got, because of them being chased, is how it ended up into the BVI waters. There's no evidence to suggest that they were coming here, but they ended up here after they were being chased. And as a result, encountering the difficult, rough waters is how it ended up on the rocks. The nationals who were charged were all Spanish-speaking nationals from the Dominican Republic. They were the 4 persons that was charged.
A follow up on that, and they were the only persons believed to be on the vessel?
Based on information, yes. There were other persons that were picked up for questioning, In terms of whether they go on the same vessel, that is still ongoing at the moment.
My second question. You have spoken about successes in the RVIPF, especially regarding seizing of firearm and ammunition. Many share that you have been doing a wonderful job as the acting commissioner of police, and some believe you should be confirmed to the post, and they have publicly shared those sentiments. Have you reapplied for the post, and are you confident you have met those new requirements as outlined by the governor?
Siren is an indication that the question is outside the limit of my presentation.
Well, like I stated, you have spoken about the successes that you've been making at the helm, and that has led persons to believe that you are quite suitable for the post and would like to see you be conformed to the post. And I think it's of public interest.
Thank you. I won't go into detail. I'll say to you that the commissioner's process has been advertised. I have reapplied, and it's a process that every applicant has to go through to be interviewed. I do not, and I don't expect to get a commissioner post in a handbasket in my hands. I expect to go through the entire process just like anyone else who has applied.
Good afternoon, Commissioner. Rush Skinner, BVI
Yes, sir.
Beacon. The independent witnesses not affiliated with law enforcement who were present and observed the destruction of the narcotics, who were these people and what were they doing there in the first place? And how long did that burn take?
How long?
Did that burn take?
To be quite honest with you, Rush, I'm not too sure how long it took, but I know it didn't take too long for everything to be completely burned. The persons on the ground who I alluded to were persons who a visiting doctor that was at Oil Nut Bay and workers within the remit of Oil Nut Bay that assisted the police throughout the whole day with that ordeal.
I'm sorry, I missed that. You said they were employees of Oil Nut Bay?
People affiliated with Oil Nut Bay, a doctor who was on vacation at Oil Nut Bay that assisted officers with the smoking problems. And as I say, we commend Oil Nut Bay for the extra hand that they gave us in terms of underground assistance. It was not really external, but people who were on the ground within the vicinity of Oil Nut Bay.
Okay, and the follow-up question for that, the kind of respirators were they wearing, were they like an N95 mask or were they a double filter respirator?
I know they were wearing masks, Rush, but whether it was the N95 ones, I'm not sure.
Sure.
Thank you.
And the my second question, the officers who were injured in that day, were they injured in the recovery process, the respiratory issues, or was it a combination of both? Since there was said there was a number of officers.
Thank you. Both are Rush. Most of them were injured while climbing the rocks to get the cocaine up the hill.
Okay, thank you. And they're all are they all safe now?
Yeah, they're doing fine. They're doing fine.
Cindy Roseanne, Walkerberry Media. Good morning.
Morning, ma'am.
There was an accident late last year in the Major Bay area that took the life of a young man. Can you give us a full update on the accident?
Ma'am, can you please be a bit more specific with your question?
There was an accident late last year, that took the life in Major Bay, that took the life of a young man that worked at Trellers Bay Market.
Oh.
Can you give us a full update on that accident?
Thank you, ma'am, for refreshing my memory. Remember, senior moments to set in now and again. Yes, I can attest, ma'am, about the accident. Yes, it was investigated by the Road Policing Unit by Acting Inspector Leslie. Statements were recorded. As far as I know, that it is still open and pertains to the person, the alleged driver of the vehicle. I'm not too sure. I don't want to give no misinformation, ma'am, but I know the last update I got, the alleged driver of the vehicle was out of the territory. It is not for me to do a follow-up to ascertain whether he has returned back to the territory, and I shall provide that information as soon as it becomes available, ma'am.
Thank you. I'm going to call this a follow-up to that question. Can you or any of the officers there point out the legislation or direct me to the area that speaks to not calling a minor or a young person's name in an indictable offense?
It's a very good question, ma'am. I know the Children and Young Person Act does not speak about it, but I crave the indulgence to pull up the exact act that has that such information. If you look at the Youth Court Act number 11 of 2005, section 6, that speaks about the privacy of naming minors within such cases.
Does the Young People and Children's Act override that act?
No, ma'am, it doesn't. It has to do with the privacy and also the minor's age as well. It pertains to the Youth Court Act.
What's the name of the act?
I can furnish you with a copy of it, ma'am. It's the Youth Court Act number 11 of 2005.
Okay, I shall look at it. Thank you. And my last question. In a situation such as the Bank of Asia issue, where persons feel criminal or corporate misconduct may have occurred, failing action from the governor, can an individual person or persons file a complaint for investigation into the matter?
Ma'am, with all due respect to you, I personally will not. I refuse to even entertain on any conversation.
No, what I'm asking you, if any citizen feel like a criminal conduct has happened in any instance, can we as individual citizens or group of citizens, it has nothing to do with who's involved with Bank of Asia or the issue of Bank of Asia, can citizens file complaints for investigation into matters such as that?
Yes, ma'am. they can.
Thank you.
Are we allowed a second round?
Follow?
So we'll allow one follow-up per person, per media house.
Thank you. If I may, just trying to get back on track. Regarding the killing of Mr. Albert, I'm aware it's early into the investigations, but could you say if the police has been able to establish a possible motive?
Thank you. Very good question. Not as yet. The investigation is still ongoing to establish what the possible motive might have been. But that is still ongoing.
Kathy Richards, can you speak to the ballistic capabilities of the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force on the ground? Is it a situation where you can do certain levels of ballistic investigations, or you are reliant 100% on external sources?
Thank you, ma'am. Very good question. Yes, we do limited from the ground within the RBIPF. We still have to rely on the external agencies to assist in those ballistic results.
Rough Skinner. How much of the 1,400 kilograms was retained for evidence purposes versus the amount burned? What was I asking? Or was the 1,400 in total, or was that what was retained?
91 kilograms of the cocaine was retained.
That's all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everyone. Sorry, one follow-up from Cindy Roseanne.
Oh, my additional question. Acting Commissioner, who decided who would witness the burning of the drugs? And for transparency and accountability purposes, why wasn't any member of the media invited to witness?
Ma'am, there were a senior officer on the ground giving instructions to the command, to his team on the ground, at the same time in direct contact with the acting DCP for crime. So those instructions were properly led by senior command officers giving instructions. And secondly, it would not have been wise for us at that time to invite the media to be on that scene. Had you seen the waters for yourself, it was even difficult for all boats and officers to get on the ground of that.
Can we get the videos that were taken?
Ma'am, it's not feasible at this time to show those videos because most of those videos will be for evidential purposes. You're welcome, ma'am.
All right, that brings us to the end of today's press conference. I want to say thank you to the media house, thank you to the public who's listening on the radio and online. I am Akia Thomas Nero, and thank you for tuning in today.